Welcome to the Press Rewind Prince Lyrics Podcast. I'm your host, Jason Brenninger, and we are now up to episode number 35. In this episode, I'm going to be talking about the Prince B-side, Gotta Stop, in parentheses, Messin About. This is Prince's very first non-album B-side. So Gotta Stop Messin About has significance for that reason. It was released as a single in the UK, but it was only a B-side here in the United States and Canada, and it didn't even show up on a 7-inch B-side. The only way that U.S. audiences could hear this song is through the 12-inch of Let's Work. The Let's Work 12-inch is cool because it had like a really fun and exciting, innovative remix, extended remix of the song Let's Work, which is inherently a great song to begin with. But on the B-side, on the flip side of this 12-inch, was this non-album song, this kind of first track out of Prince's career where he did something different on the B-side. Up to this point, all of the B-sides on Prince's singles had been album tracks. Just, deep cuts off of the various albums, and it wasn't always songs from the album that the single was from. So off of the Prince album, you might have a B-side from the For You album. On the Dirty Mind album, you might have a B-side from the Prince album. On Controversies, 7-inch singles, you might have a B-side from the Dirty Mind album. So it just kind of ran the gamut, and there was a lot of different scenarios and different configurations in terms of singles from that era. But Gotta Stop Messin About is a Dirty Mind era song. So this song, even though it didn't show up until 1981 as a B-side in the United States and as a single in the UK, it was recorded during the Dirty Mind sessions with possible intentions of it being included on that record. And for whatever reason, it didn't make the final Dirty Mind track listing, but either Prince or his record label, Warner Brothers, felt like this song was strong enough to be released anyway and find its way out there and not get buried in the vault, the proto vault, I guess, because the vault at this point in 1981 probably didn't exist in the way that we know it today. This song, Gotta Stop Messin About, did also show up finally on Prince's The Hits and B-Sides collection in 1993. So a lot of Prince fans' first introduction to this song was likely at that point, because I don't think the Let's Work 12-inch was a big seller, and it certainly wasn't sold and distributed in the same way that like Let's Go Crazy or When Doves Cry or Raspberry Beret or any of those mid-80s hits of Prince's, or even like the 1999 era songs. So songs, B-sides like Erotic City and 17 Days and How Come You Don't Call Me Anymore and Hello and Girl, things like that, those are all songs that were pretty well known already in 1993 when the B-Sides collection came out, at least by the most devoted of Prince fans. But this song probably wasn't heard by the vast majority of people who bought that record, and I certainly hadn't heard it. My first introduction to the song was 1993's B-Sides as well, so I fall right into that category of people who were introduced to the song 12 years, 13 years after it was recorded and officially released. The song itself has, a very new wave, keyboard-based rock sound to it, which, Prince was really experimenting with this sound around the Dirty Mind era. Sonically speaking, Dirty Mind and Controversy aren't that far apart, so it's not like it doesn't fit in there at all. It's just, to me, this always sounded more like a Dirty Mind B-side. It has a much more bare bones sound to it. There isn't a lot of embellishments going on in the production, and that is kind of a real signature style and signature sound for Dirty Mind. So the sound of the song, when I read and found out that it was recorded during the Dirty Mind era, it just made sense to me, and I'm like, oh yeah, that makes total sense, and it absolutely sounds like a song that was recorded in 1980, as opposed to during the Controversy sessions proper. It has a much less of a funk and R&B sound than most of the songs recorded for Controversy. Now, if we're looking at the lyrics of the song, just from a 5,000 foot perspective, it's another song that seems to be about an emotionally abusive relationship that Prince is in, or Prince's character is in. He apparently has a promiscuous girlfriend, another promiscuous girlfriend, similar to the kind of girlfriend that he had in When You Were Mine, which was also obviously a Dirty Mind song. He was mining a bit from the same emotional background and perspective for these two tracks. In When You Were Mine, he's more lamenting the loss of his girlfriend to this other person, even though she was never monogamous with him, and that was expressed throughout the lyrics, and probably wasn't a very good girlfriend from the get-go. In this song, he's more judgmental. He's really kind of trying to point out to her that she's doing him wrong from the standpoint that she's perpetually cheating on him, and he wants her to see the error of her ways, I guess, and is trying to bring to her attention her behavior as being unacceptable and a bit dangerous. So I think at this point it makes sense to start going through the lyrics. So the first verse on Gotta Stop Messin' About is, sitting outside your door, about to break down. Fourth time this week, somebody's come around. Who's it gonna be tonight? Who's the lucky man? Where you get the attitude, I'll never understand. Uh-oh, here he comes now, so happy that he came. Hey, was a good boy. And then this last line of this first verse is a line that I really do not know what he's saying, and there's a couple different documented interpretations of this line. So one interpretation is thoughts are over lame, or thoughts are lame, or something about that. And another interpretation, which makes even less sense to me, and that's saying a lot because that doesn't make what I just said doesn't make a lot of sense either. But another interpretation that's been documented online is thoughts on her of aim, or thoughts on of her aim. That doesn't make any sense either. So I'm gonna kind of skip that last line because there isn't a consensus, A, and B, both documented lines on the internet that I could find are not very helpful because they don't really offer a lot of, to me, they don't make sense. So sitting outside your door about to break down, fourth time this week somebody's come around. So Prince is essentially, his character in the song is stalking, I guess, or at least watching his girl. He doesn't trust her, apparently, so he's already lost, by the time the song starts, he's already lost his trust in her, and he's kind of keeping tabs on her, keeping an eye on her. So he's sitting outside her door. He's really upset, about to break down, because he keeps seeing all of these people. He doesn't say men, but at least not here. And then he says, who's the lucky man? But he keeps seeing these men coming and going from this girl's house or apartment, fourth time this week. So I'm hoping that this is like a Friday or Saturday that he says this, and so it's fourth time since maybe Sunday or Monday, as opposed to it being like a Monday or Tuesday and there's already been four guys coming and going. Either way, it's not good, and he recognizes this and he's very upset. Who's it going to be tonight? Who's the lucky man? So he's obviously accusing her of, being very promiscuous and obviously very not monogamous and not really caring about the feelings of maybe her boyfriend. He doesn't say that he's her boyfriend. Where you get the attitude, I'll never understand. So, the attitude of where do you get off doing this? Where do you get off treating me this way? Where do you get off just playing these games with these men? And if it's all casual, that's fine. And, there's a little bit of slut shaming going on here. This is definitely a song about slut shaming. So if Prince is not in a relationship with this girl, he needs to just mind his own business, I guess. But if he is, then yeah, okay, this makes sense that he would be upset. Oh, here he comes now, so happy that he came. Hey, was a good boy. So those are all, I feel like, those last couple lines I just said are supposed to be a bit sarcastic. Oh, I'm so happy that he came. And, obviously came could be used in multiple ways. It could be a play on words. I'm so happy that he arrived at your place, or I'm so happy that he came and had an orgasm. Hey, was a good boy. So he's trying to express some sarcasm there with that line and just pretending to be interested in how the sex was with his girlfriend, if that's who she actually is. He doesn't obviously really care. Maybe that last line has something to do with that. Maybe he's trying to explain that these questions, or statements about happy that he came and was a good boy, is not really something he cares about. We just don't know because that last line is not clear to us as the listener. There's a couple lines that go directly into the chorus. So he goes, what goes on inside your head that makes you want to take them all to bed? And then that's the pre-chorus, and the chorus is gotta stop, gotta stop messing about. Gotta stop messing about. He repeats that line twice, and that's the chorus essentially. What goes on inside your head that makes you want to take them all to bed is him just trying to understand the mindset of this woman in the song that prioritizes sex that much that she's willing to throw away potentially a relationship with Prince's character in the song for all these fleeting sexual encounters with these men. So I guess he's kind of implying that maybe there's some sort of mental issue going on with her, that she's got problems, maybe an addiction. He's asking her because he doesn't know, and he wants her to try to explain why she feels like she needs to have sex with all these guys. In the next verse, he says, when I call you on the phone, you act so unconcerned. I want to get you all alone, oh baby, to show you what I've learned. You won't give me the time of day, you won't give me some time. You won't give me anything. God, you think you're too fine. Can't you see? So I guess in this verse he's trying to speak more about the actual relationship, or at least the state of the relationship that he has with this woman. So they talk, he calls on the phone, and when he says you act so unconcerned, I think maybe he's saying that, when he brings it up to her, brings up the fact that he knows that she's fooling around, she doesn't seem to care. It doesn't bother her that it bothers him. And he's saying he wants to get her alone. So he's trying to say, I want you for myself. At least I want my turn. That's maybe a little crude, but he's at least saying, I want to get you all alone. I want my turn with you to show you what I've learned. So he feels like, he can compete with these other men, at least in the bedroom. And I think that he's a little upset that she's not letting him. Maybe she's doesn't see him in that way. Maybe she likes him too much to sleep with him, which sounds, completely backwards. But so, because he says, you won't give me the time of day, you won't give me some time, you won't give me anything. So we don't know if it's because she doesn't like him in that way. I mean, they might be in the friend zone, for all I know. Because right now, after reading off these two verses, we don't know. He hasn't mentioned once girlfriend or that they're in a relationship. So they know each other, obviously, but I'm thinking now he's the character Prince is singing from in this song is in the friend zone with this girl, and it pisses him off that he's been put in the friend zone when she obviously enjoys sex and obviously has a lot of men that she sees for that purpose, and he's not one of them. And so I'm thinking now this song is more about that. It's more about him being frustrated that she's not giving him time of day. She doesn't think that he's potentially a potential sex partner for her, even though he feels like that. Well, he obviously wants to be one. He wants to be with her in that way. He wants to show her what he's learned. But at the same time, he is also a little upset that all these other men are getting it and he's not. And he's lashing out at her for giving it up to all these men and not him. That's how I see this song. So then he repeats the chorus, but before he does that, he does another little pre-chorus. So before he said, what goes inside your head that makes you want to take them all to bed? But now he changes that for the next pre-chorus. All I want is a little time. I've been playing with my toy so much I'm gonna go blind. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty clear what he's talking about there. He's talking about a masturbation, obviously, and how he's sexually frustrated and she's not responding to his advances. And so and I don't know too many women that are going to be like, oh, I'm sorry, baby, I'm sorry that you have to jerk off. So I'm really sorry to hear that. Why don't you come over and we can have sex so you don't have to jerk off? So I don't think that line is really going to help his chances with this woman. Having to tell her that because she won't put out for him, basically, that he has to masturbate constantly. I'm not sure that that's going to work. I guess at this point he's just throwing everything at the wall and hoping something will stick in terms of getting her attention and getting her to give him the time of day. So yeah, and he sings the chorus again. Gotta stop, gotta stop messing about. And he repeats that line again. And then we go into a bit of a bridge, and it's not a vocal bridge. It's just instrumental at this point. The song is fairly short. It's like I want to say less than 3 minutes. So it's a fairly short song. It goes quickly. So there's not a lot of time for extra lyrics. And he sings these two verses fairly quickly. Then there's a brief musical interlude before going back into the chorus again, which turns out to be also the outro. Gotta stop, gotta stop, messing about. And he repeats that line a couple times, then he ad-libs, you do it too much, gotta stop, gotta stop, messing about, and repeats that some more times until it is time for him to finish the song, where he goes, stop. And that's how the song ends. So there we go. That's the song, Gotta Stop Messing About, Prince's very first B-side, sung from the perspective of a sexually frustrated and jilted man who is interested in a woman and sees her as a potential mate, but she does not see him in that way, obviously, because he is sexually frustrated, as he expressed throughout the song. And what's really pissing him off is that she is not chaste. She is not saving herself for marriage. She's having a lot of fun with a lot of other men, and the character Prince sings from in this song is not one of them. So that's my takeaway on the song. I like the song. It's not one of the most memorable of Prince 80s B-sides, but it certainly is a good song, and I do enjoy it. It would have fit in on Dirty Mind. Because most of the songs on that album do have a very sexual edge to them, and the song also does. Speaking of promiscuity and masturbation and some snarkiness on Prince's part, so it would have fit in. Not so much on controversy, I don't think. The song wouldn't have fit in on controversy, so I'm glad he didn't try to force it onto that album. Perfect B-side, really. I mean, that's where this song belongs, on a B-side, which is where it was in the United States. The UK, like I said, they got it as a a release single. It was the A-side for some reason. I don't really know or understand why. It's not that strong of a song that it needs to be an A-side, but it's a good song nonetheless. So that's all I have to say about that song. Hope you guys enjoyed it. This has been the Press Rewind Prince Lyrics podcast. I've been your host, Jason Brenninger. Get a hold of me on Twitter at PressRewind75. Also, I'm on Instagram and Facebook under the Press Rewind Prince Lyrics podcast name. Look me up that way. My blog is PressRewind.net. You can get a hold of me through that. Thanks again, and until next time, goodbye.